just before we go out and get started, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck and remain seated at all times. Now, if you move your head, there is an animal spotting guide up there. We will do our best to find as many of those animals as we can. And if you're looking to take pictures, I will recommend putting your phone or camera into a live sport or action mode. And ensure you get the best possible picture, as I can't stop for each and every animal, and the animals, they certainly don't stop and pose for pictures. We are going to get our journey started out together in the Little Aturi Forest. Animals out here in the forest, they like to rely on their natural colors to help blend into their background. So keep an extra sharp eye out, as the animals out here could be hiding just about anywhere. Does look like over on the right hand side is the okapi. Now, okapis are generally very shy and reclusive in nature. They're not too territorial though. You'll often find the okapis hidden deep within the forest. Over on our left, these black and white birds here are the saddle-billed storks. They get their name from that yellow saddle shape that rests on their beak. And they're solitary birds, but if they find a partner, they're partners for life. They stand at around 5 feet tall and have an average wingspan of around 9 feet. Now, straight up ahead, up on the hill, that tan antelope is the greater kudu. They're some of the tallest antelopes, standing at around 55 inches just at the shoulder. And that one there is a female, as only the male greater kudus will carry horns. Does look like there's a couple more antelope friends up ahead here. Now, those copper-colored ones, these are the bongos. Now, bongos, they're often referred to as the ghosts of the forest, as they're very rarely seen. We're just gonna wait until this one decides if it wants to cross the road in front of us here. Now, the greater kudu and the bongos, they both have these white stripes on their midsection. Those act as their main form of camouflage. When they're hiding out in the trees, those stripes actually help mimic the sun's rays peeking through. Does look like they're making eye contact with you guys there. Now, all the animals who live out here in the forest, they heavily rely on all of these trees for their camouflaging. So it's important that we do our best to recycle as many paper products as we can. That way we can help out all these animals out here really thrive in their natural habitat. And we have just made our way towards the Safary River. Keep an eye out in the water, look for shadows or bubbles. It's normally pretty good signs of some animals. But it does look like up ahead here are the pink-backed pelicans. They get their name as they turn a pinkish color during their mating season. It's actually their skin that will change colors and not their feathers. They are colonial nesters. They'll be anywhere from around 20 pairs of birds to about 500 pairs. A group is called a pod. Over on the left in the water here are the Nile hippos. A group of hippos is called a beluga. And even though the hippos can swim, they are so heavy that they'll just sink down to the bottom and they'll run along the bottom of the water. They use the rocks beneath them to help propel themselves forward. They can also hold their breath for about 6 to 8 minutes at a time. Now, an adult male hippo, they can reach up to about 5,500 pounds. For their size though, hippos eat a pretty small amount. Hippos, they only eat about 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation daily, which is the opposite of those Nile crocodiles down below, as they can eat half their body weight in just one sitting. Now, the Nile crocodiles, they are the largest crocodilian species in all of Africa. On average, they're roughly do have an incredible jaw strip, but the crocodiles, they are still quite gentle. You'll often find that the mom and dad, they will hold their eggs in their mouth, and they'll roll them around with their tongues in order to soften them up to help them hatch. And crocodiles, they don't have sweat glands like we do, so in order to release all of their body heat, they'll lie there with their mouths wide open to help cool themselves off. Over on the right here, this is the baobab tree. Baobab trees, they go leafless up to about 9 months out of the year. They're often referred to as the upside down tree, as it kind of looks like they have roots that stick up in the air. Another pretty common name for them is the tree of life. That's because they can store thousands of gallons of water in their trunks at a time. But we have just made our way into the largest part of the reserve, the Savannah. The Savannah is home to Africa's much more popular and iconic wildlife, like the wildebeest and giraffe here to our right. Now, wildebeest is Afrikaans, meaning wild beast. Over 1.5 million of them used to migrate across Africa every single year. And a lot of people, they often refer to the wildebeest as gnus, G-N-U-S. That's over the sound they make, as it sounds like they're just repeatedly saying the word new. And a group of wildebeest is called an implausibility. There is another giraffe here on our right. They are the tallest animals in the world. Fully grown, the Maasai giraffes stand at around 18 to 20 feet tall when fully grown. Now, it does seem pretty quiet out here on our left, but it does look like hiding out in their den is the African wild dog. Now, they're also known as the painted dogs.
Tomar foto.
On the back too. At the top and the back.
Now, don't let their cuteness fool you. These dogs, they are the most successful predator. They outrank any large cat by over 40%. And they're led by an alpha male, alpha female pairing. Laying down on our left back there are the sable antelopes. The sable antelopes, they are the official emblem here of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They have an average lifespan of around 10 years, and the coats on the males, they will darken as they mature. The sable antelopes are a dominant male-led species, but it's the dominant female leading them in their movements and making a bunch of their decisions. And they have those horns of theirs, which they use to help establish their dominance in both fighting and sparring, as well as love and courtship. It does look like we're going to get a real close view of the giraffe up ahead here. Now, giraffes, their tongues are a bluish purple in color. The theory is that helps prevent any sunburn, as they spend the majority of their days awake and eating. As giraffes, they only sleep roughly around 30 minutes a day. And that's not one 30-minute nap the giraffes take. It's a bunch of small little naps that are scattered throughout the day, and often so standing up, as laying down makes them much more vulnerable to predators. It does look like there's some zebras crossing the road up ahead here. That's why we're hanging out here just for a moment. It does look like they're gonna just walk the ride path here, so we're gonna be hanging out here momentarily.
Usually we end up in a giraffe exhibit because the giraffes will stand in front of us.
Now, the giraffes straight ahead here, a group of them is called a tower. The first thing a baby giraffe experiences is gravity. Mom gives birth standing up, so it's a nice 6-foot welcome drop to the world. Except it only takes a newborn giraffe roughly about an hour after birth to start standing up and walking. Now, also up ahead here, these are the Hartman mountain zebras. A group of zebras like this one here is called a dazzle. It does look like there's one more that's just hanging out in the ride path up ahead. Now, if you're wondering if they are black with white stripes or white with black stripes, the answer is actually neither. The zebra's skin is simply just striped. No two stripe patterns will ever be the same, and the babies, they actually have the ability to imprint on their mother's stripe pattern. That way they can always recognize her and remain close to her for their first year of life. They're also the only species of zebras who have a dewlap. A dewlap is this extra little skin flap that sits on their neck. It's filled with a bunch of extra blood vessels and helps them in their thermal regulation. All the way up on the hill on our right by the tallest tree, there's some tiny little antelopes laying up there, and those are the springbok. Now, springbok, they are small, only standing at about 3 feet tall. What they lack in height, though, they make up for in speed. Springbok are some of the top 10 fastest animals in the world, reaching speeds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And they get their name, which means springing buck, as they can spring about 6 feet up into the air and about 13 feet when going forward. When they do that, it is called pronking. Because of the springbok speed and jumping capability, they are mascots for a bunch of sports teams over in South Africa. And straight ahead there on the right is the African elephant. Now, African elephants, if you look at their ears somewhat resemble the continent of Africa. Those ears of theirs are also filled with blood vessels. So by just flapping their ears, the elephants, they can actually cool themselves off up to about 15 degrees. So it's like they have their own little cooling system that has been built right in. One way we can help animals like the elephants is by recycling products containing coltan. Now, coltan's a metallic ore you'll find in cell phones, laptops, tablets, and a bunch of other smaller electronics. It's known to last forever, so it's important we do our best to recycle as many of those products as we can. That way we can stop the need for mining for more and help protect the homes of elephants all across the world. Making our way here through some red clay pits. These are a great source of minerals for all the animals out here. You'll often see the elephants come by. They'll dig their tusks in to extract the minerals, as it works like you and I taking a daily vitamin. There are a couple of tusk marks here on the right, which could mean we might find more elephants up ahead. It does look like there's one up ahead here, one just past the trees. Now, elephants, they do live in a matriarchal society, so it is the females who run the show. And the boys, they will kick themselves out of the herd as they mature. That happens around age 15. Now, those boys, they will go on to live alone, or they'll form a small little bachelor herd, roughly around 2 to 3 other male elephants. Their trunks, they have more muscles in their trunks than we do in our entire body. You often see them using their trunks to fling dirt, mud, and sand up onto their back. And that'll actually as a natural sunscreen for them. As elephants, they are known to have incredibly sensitive skin. And they are the largest mammals in the world. Fully grown, the African elephants stand at around 13,000 pounds, reach up to about 13 feet tall. And it does look like just around the corner here are the greater flamingos. Keep an extra sharp eye out on the island as there's a couple of baby greater flamingos hanging out there. Now the greater flamingos, they are the lightest in color and largest of all flamingo species. They get that pink coloration from the beta carotene, which is found in their diet of mainly brine shrimp. It does take roughly around 2 to 3 years though for the pink color to start developing. As you can see, these babies, they are born that very light gray color. And a group of flamingos like this is called a flamboyance. We have just made our way over to the eastern side of the Savannah here. This giant mud pit in the middle, this is the mud wallow, which was created here by the white rhinos. If you look on the bottom of the trees and on the rocks, they are covered in the mud. Rhinos come by, take a nice mud bath, and they'll brush their horns up against the trees and rocks. As their horns, they are made out of keratin, just like our fingernails. So by brushing their horns up against the trees and the rocks, they are filing down their horns, just like we would our fingernails. But we are now entering into some cat territory here. So keep an extra sharp eye out on the left-hand side, as there might be some cheetahs roaming around. They do have over 1,000 spots on their body, which makes it much easier for them to blend into their surroundings. Now, it does look like there might be one hanging out way up ahead here in this back corner. It does look like they're hanging out just by that tree in the bottom right there. Now cheetahs, they are the fastest land mammals in the world, reaching speeds of around 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. They can't hold their speed for too long though, roughly just a few 100 yards. And they have incredibly muscular tails, which act like a rudder on a boat, and helps them change directions as they run, as well as keep their balance. They also have black tear marks underneath their eyes, which act as their natural sunglasses. Cheetahs, they do the majority of their hunting during the daytime. And a group of cheetahs is called a coalition. Now this giant rock formation here, this is Kobe Rocks. It does look like the male lion is up here on our left. And the female laying just above him there. In a lion pride, it will be the females who go out and do the hunting, while the males, they stay back, guard the territory, and any cubs. The reason the females go out and do the hunting is they weigh significantly less. The mates the males carry reach up to about 40 pounds. And when the lions roar at their full power, you can hear that roar up into about 5 miles away. The lions, they have pretty comparable daytime vision to ours. Their nighttime vision, though, roughly about 6 times more powerful than our nighttime vision. And they'll typically rest around 16 to 20 hours a day and are much more active during the nighttime. Straight ahead is the warthog. Now warthogs, they are burrowing animals. You'll find that they'll back up into their burrow. That way they can charge at any predator of theirs with those razor-sharp tusks. And it's pretty common for warthogs to reuse holes in the ground dug and left by other animals. To our right are the white rhinos. Now white rhinos, they can reach up to about 5,000 pounds. They do love hanging out in groups, and a group of rhinos like this is called a crash. Now rhinos, the white rhinos, they get their name not from their color, but actually due to the mistranslation of the Afrikaans word fight. Fight means wide, and I was referring to their mouth shape, as they have very square, wide mouths. While black rhinos, they have more of a pointed, prehensile upper lip. The white rhinos also have very poor eyesight. They can only see about 10 feet in front of them clearly. They make up for it as they have excellent hearing. Their ears actually move independently of one another. this is the Warden's post. Warden takes care and protects all the animals who live out here. Right now it looks like there's a couple of Nigerian dwarf goats hanging out on the front patio here. Now they are small, but they're fully grown. This is as big as they'll get. They're incredibly playful, friendly, and social animals. And their playing actually helps them with their maturity. These goats do have a tremendous sense of balance, so you'll often find them climbing up on top of all of the Warden's belongings. And occasionally the goats, they love to climb up on top of the roof. But we did just find a bunch of really cool animals out there, and each and every one of them needs our help. That can be just as simple as reducing, reusing, and recycling. So going out and getting those reusable water bottles, straws, even silverware, it's all a great way to start reducing all of that plastic waste. Making sure we recycle as much paper as we can, that way we can help out all those animals out there really rely on trees for their survival. Remember, when we all do a little, together we do a lot. So go out there, make those differences, spread your knowledge, and together we can help out all of those animals. And if there are any wilderness explorers on board, you guys have been riding on the Simba 1. That is Simba like the lion and the number 1.
Duró 20 minutos.
They really give us some other opportunities to go out and find some animals out there. I will recommend checking out the walking trails within the park. Straight across the exit of this attraction will be the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. On that trail you might find some gorillas, naked mole rats, meerkats, and other species of zebra, even an underwater viewing area of the Nile hippo. Over in Asia, that's where you'll find the Maharaja Jungle Trek.
Para bien la oreja,
Asian
Juan,
water
para bien la
buffalo,
oreja.
fruit bats, a Komodo dragon, even the Sumatran tiger. Both of those trails are stroller, wheelchair, and ECV accessible, so feel free to bring any of those devices along with you. Just be advised they do close just a little bit earlier than the rest of the park, closing at 5:45. Just make sure if you want to check those trails out, you do so before they close at 5:45. And if you'd like to ride the safari again, just make sure you get in line before 6 p.m. as we will close that line at 6. Be a great time to start gathering up all those personal belongings. You don't leave anything out there behind out on the truck. Out here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. As goodbyes, they are far too sad and far too final. Instead, we say Kwaherini, which means to go well. So go well, my friends. Go wild.
Ponte a estudiar, Juanito, ponte a estudiar. Bye.